Aloha, and welcome to the Fall 2019 edition of UHMTV, a TV news magazine show written, hosted, and produced by the journalism students at UH Manoa. I'm Alexa Gutierrez.
And I'm Carina Nocon. Thanks for joining us for this special edition of UHMTV. Coming up in this episode, how UH Manoa is responding to immigration reform and what it's doing for student dreamers.
Why UH law students are helping this convicted felon clear his name.
And Warrior Football gets ready to bid aloha to a popular local landmark.
Plus, a special talk story session with UH's longest-serving head coach and proud alum, Andy Johnson. Stay with us for UHMTV.
Legal debate surrounding immigration policies continues to stir fear among the so-called DACA dreamers.
As Keila Lee reports, the University of Hawaii is standing by its decision to protect and support undocumented students.
Protesters across the nation have been rallying against President Trump's decision to shut down the DACA program in 2017. More than 800,000 Dreamers are currently receiving DACA benefits, but that could change if the Supreme Court sides with the administration.
Of course, we can't predict, but the composition of the court does not make it look good, unfortunately, for the survival of DACA. So we'll just have to wait and see if anything survives.
DACA, or Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, protects Dreamers from deportation and extends work visas for immigrants who came to the U.S. as children. Benefits are normally renewed every 2 years, but that offer is no longer available pending the Supreme Court's decision. The Trump administration argues that DACA is illegal, affects the economy, and is a threat to public safety. UH is just one of the many universities offering support for DACA students. Benefits include in-state tuition for undocumented residents and free legal aid from the law school's refugee and immigration clinic. UH has also launched a new website dedicated to undocumented students. Yet, even with free services available, only a few have taken advantage of the offer. Legal experts believe it's due to fear or other factors.
The community here didn't seem to feel comfortable with the very idea. The immigrant population in Hawaii tends to be skewed towards the Asia and Pacific as opposed to Latin America and other parts of the world. Some people have said that there may be a cultural reason.
DACA supporters believe immigrants are the backbone of the local economy and say a complete shutdown of the program would cause Hawaii to lose about $600 million over the next 10 years.
And they're also fulfilling some pretty critical jobs in the economy. If you have that group of people that have work authorization and are really super productive in the economy, and then you take their work authorization away, those people are going to lose their jobs.
While the Supreme Court deliberates a decision, UH administration says it will continue to stand behind all undocumented students and offer all protections under the law. The Supreme Court's decision is expected to be made in early 2020. For more information on UH's response to DACA, or to learn more about the Refugee and Immigration Clinic, visit their website at law.hawaii.edu. For UHMTV, I'm Keila Lee.
Thanks, Keila. UH law students are also taking on criminal cases involving defendants who claim to be wrongfully accused.
Through a partnership with the Hawaii Innocence Project, students were recently able to help a convicted sex offender clear his name. High-profile criminal cases surrounding murder and molestation are just some of the projects being considered by the Hawaii Innocence Project. It is a nonprofit group that partners with the UH Law School to help those who claim to be wrongfully accused.
We have our students call our clients once a week, even if there's really nothing to report, because again, it's building that relationship. When you build that relationship, your client will tell you useful information that they've never told anybody else. And they just become kind of like family. These cases can take, on average, nationally, 8 to 10 years.
One of their clients, Ronis Dural, was convicted in 2003 for raping a 14-year-old girl. He served 8 years in prison for a crime he claims he never committed. With the help of UH law students, they were able to prove that his accuser lied, leading to his exoneration.
Even when I went inside, I didn't go in afraid. I went in ready for whatever was going to happen. You know, you could take my freedom, but you won't break me mentally.
Nearly 5% of prisoners in the U.S. are presumed innocent. 70% of those prisoners are minorities.
You know, my mom always taught me a lot, and she said, if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. And you have to stand for that, you know what I mean? My freedom.
The Innocence Project worked with Dural and his family to gather evidence and build their case.
You pushing back against the system gonna push back against you. You come here to law school so that you can help others. And part of helping others is standing up for them when nobody else will.
Evidence showed that the accuser made up the story to hide a secret affair with 2 other men. One of those men actually wrote a letter affirming Dural's innocence. The girl's mother also took back her original testimony against him. Despite this new evidence, prosecutors maintain he is guilty, but Dural's defense attorney stands by his innocence.
Even though he's sitting in jail, even though his kids were growing up with him not being there, he chose not to take the deal. That, to me, tells me that he is innocent of this charge. Any person who was guilty of this charge would have made a decision to get back with his family as quickly as possible.
Carina Nocon for UHMTV News. If you or someone you know has been wrongfully accused, contact the Hawaii Innocence Project at hawaiiinnocenceproject.org.
Thanks, Karina.
When we return, Kailua residents are up in arms about the use of firearms in neighborhoods.
Don't go away.
Welcome back to UHMTV. Hawaii's film industry generates $320 million a year, which some say is good for the local economy.
But, as Kirsten Sibley tells us, others believe it's not so good for public safety.
Hawaii FiveO, the popular CBS TV series, is under fire after recently filming a live gunfire scene in a Kailua neighborhood. Residents are upset because show producers did not inform the public prior to the August shoot, which was located next to Trinity Christian School. Some called 911 thinking it was a real-life shooting. Residents are calling for city officials to take legal action, saying the situation was unacceptable.
Granted, no effort will be 100% effective, but the effort that went into this particular shooting, this particular filming was not very adequate.
During the past 10 years of filming on the island, Hawaii FiveO has always given residents ample notice before shooting live gunfire scenes. But in this recent production in Manoa, standard procedure was not followed. Show managers admit they did not post enough flyers and the usual electrical signs were never delivered. Currently, the film office has an ethical policy only requiring that film companies use weapons licensed by prop masters and are registered within 48 hours of arrival to the island. But there is no mention of its use near homes and schools, and currently there is no law to regulate simulated gunfire in films. The mayor's office apologized to the neighborhood board in an October meeting, saying it was a hiccup that could have been prevented through better communication procedures. Andrew Pereira, the city communications director, said they will look into the best practices to make sure this glitch won't happen again. FiveO producers tried to make good with the community by providing a free ice cream truck during a weekend social. While residents appreciated the effort, they're still asking for stricter film regulations. The neighborhood board is working with city officials to propose some type of legislation ensuring public safety for future films. For UHMTV, I'm Kirsten Sibley.
Meanwhile, a new law to tighten gun control in Hawaii is scheduled to go into effect this coming January.
The aim is to increase gun safety while decreasing violence in the islands. Ronnie Allen Catman has more.
Hawaii has the 7th strictest gun laws in the nation, and now it's about to get stricter. Beginning next year, the red flag law goes into effect. It makes it easier for residents to report registered gun owners if they feel they are a danger to society. The red flag law allows authorities to confiscate guns based on the complaint.
Without any actual proof, bust down your doors, take your firearms, and you have to go to court to defend your right that you already have to get back your firearms.
Hawaii will be the 17th state to enact the red flag law, including Idaho, Wyoming, and Mississippi. Statistics show someone is killed with a gun every 8 days in Hawaii. That's 48 people every year. In many cases of gun violence, the shooter has displayed warning signs. This law will give family members, co-workers, and friends the power to intervene before tragedy strikes. Moms Demand Action testified in support of the bill, saying that it would help reduce domestic violence crimes.
In getting these gun violence protection orders, what we're looking for is a temporary removal of the firearms from a volatile situation so that it doesn't escalate and become a fatal one.
In Connecticut, studies have shown that after implementing the red flag law, firearm suicide reduced by 14%. Some organizations oppose the law, arguing that it strips a person's constitutional right to due process.
That's my greatest issue with it, is that you're being stripped of due process and losing your Second Amendment right to carry a firearm, to own a firearm, for defending yourself and for defending your family. And that's really the greatest issue.
With the new law in effect, hearings can take place without gun owners present to argue their case. However, 77% of Americans support red flag laws, if family members are the ones reporting them. The red flag law goes into effect January 1st, 2020, in hopes of reducing gun violence. For more information on Hawaii gun laws, visit honolulupd.org. For UHMTV, I'm Ronnie Allen Catman.
When we return, we'll talk story with an award-winning sailor and proud UH alum, Andy Johnson.
And find out why these old buildings are going down and what's growing back in its place. Stay with us on UHMTV.
Welcome back to UHMTV. Every semester, we like to honor our distinguished alumni.
Recently, we had the chance to talk story with the longest-serving head coach at UH.
Andy Johnson has been a part of the UH sailing program for nearly 40 years. He is in the Intercollegiate Sailing Association Hall of Fame and has received numerous awards for his dedication to the program. He has produced 30 All-American team members, 20 All-Conference team members, and 5 Olympians. Thanks for being here, Coach.
Pleasure.
The UH sailing program is celebrating 50 years this year. I've been a part of the team for 4 years now, but you've been around for nearly 40. What's made you stick around for so long?
Basically to give back. I had a great experience when I was an athlete and when I was on the team, so I helped out my coach, Charlie Dole, and so I tried to figure out a situation that would work for me, being able to help him and then also figure out how to support myself and coach the team, so that all worked out.
So what was the transition like coming out here from Minnesota?
It's completely different, except for maybe in the summer, but I grew up playing ice hockey in the winter and sailing in the summer on the lakes, and so initially I went to University of Wisconsin-Eau Claire and played hockey for them and got myself beat up pretty bad, and after a year I said, well, let's try the other sport that I do, sailing. So I wrote letters to a bunch of colleges and UH followed up, and next thing I know I was getting on a plane and in the fall of 1980.
What was UH like back then as a student? What's your fondest memories of your time here?
Well, the tuition was way cheaper, that's for sure. But I have fond memories and still have great friends from those years. And the team was a much smaller team then. It has grown through the years. You know, we've really been able to expand things and feel good about it.
Yeah, so looking back over the last 40 years, the team's grown a lot. What's been the biggest differences from being a sailor to now the head coach?
Being able to look at the big picture. When you're an athlete, you're kind of looking at it as, what can I get out of this? And hopefully you're thinking of the team, but as a coach, you're trying to look at things well-rounded and try to figure out what's best for every one of the kids that are on the team.
Being a head coach takes a lot of time and energy. How do you find the balance with your family, your stuff you like to do in your free time, and coaching? It's
difficult. My kids are teenagers now. You want to think that they're not as demanding, but they are, and they're a lot of fun. But it's a challenge. It's really a challenge to try to fit everything in and make it all work. And hopefully your phone doesn't ring every other minute with somebody having some sort of issue or problem. But you know, it's good because you get to see the growth in all the athletes and all the kids. And you're a perfect example. You know, look at where you were when you were a freshman,
Yep.
and now you're doing this awesome interview.
Yeah.
I try to do it as much as I can.
Yeah.
I try to still race boats on my own, and that and balancing with everything else. We have a lot of good sailors, and our goal needs to be there at the national championship.
The sailing program is one of the sports at UH that doesn't get a lot of recognition. Can you kind of explain what the sailing program is like?
There are 7 districts in the country, just under 200 teams. We're a member of the Pacific Coast Collegiate Sailing Association, which includes Pac-10 schools, Big West schools. On our team, we have 20 women and 10 guys, and we generally will get probably 12 to 15 boats out each practice, and the boats are 2-person boats, and there's a skipper and a crew, and we go out and do drills and all kind of different simulations, just like any other sport. We're still in the 50th year right now.
Still celebrating.
Yeah, yep.
What's the best way for people to support the program if they want to?
You know, there's people that want to come and help out and give back coaching-wise, which was great. We have a number of alumni that have done well for themselves and are interested in helping to buy the next fleet of boats. But yeah, are giving back to our foundation.
Thank you for talking to us today, Coach. It's been a pleasure having you here in studio. Good luck with the rest of the season, and go Bows.
All right, thank you. Happy to be here.
When we come back, we'll check out the latest plans for a new Student Success Center on campus.
And why Warrior football is looking for greener turf on the other side of Halava. Stay with us.
Hawaii is home to one of the best universities in the world, the University of Hawaii at Manoa. Consistently ranked in the top 5% among national and international universities, affordable with resident tuition more than $4,000 below the national average, 200-plus degree programs to choose from. Get a world-class education and experience. The University of Hawaii at Manoa.
Welcome back to UHMTV. UH Manoa is consistently ranked as one of the top 10 most beautiful campuses in the nation, according to College Magazine, and landscapers are hoping to beautify it even more.
Part of the plan includes knocking down old buildings for even more open space. Troy Jacobs has more.
This fall, the UH Board of Regents gave the green light to knock down up to 50 portables, making room for more open space. These one-story structures were built decades ago and were only meant to be short-term office space. But today, the buildings are still here, and apparently on their last legs. Cost for the project is about $10 million. Funds will pay for demolition and landscaping of more green areas.
Our campus is one of the most beautiful in the country, and this will just continue to beautify it. And I think it'll just be a much more pleasant place to be as you walk by, and these temporary one-story wooden structures are taken away and just filled with nice open space.
Getting rid of these portables will open up about 100,000 square feet, eliminate electricity and maintenance fees, and make the university more energy efficient. With so many other construction projects happening around campus, some people think it's just too much.
For me, I see it both as a good and a bad thing because the portables right now on campus are a little old and outdated, and by removing them, I feel like it would make the campus look more beautiful. But I feel like it might cause more hassle for students commuting around campus.
Demolition is expected to happen within the next 5 years. Hundreds of faculty and staff currently working in these portables will be transferred to other places on campus. For UHMTV, I'm Troy Jacobs.
Thanks, Troy. A multi-million-dollar renovation is also slated for UH Manoa's aging Sinclair Library.
The vision is to build a new student success center with state-of-the-art digital studios. State lawmakers approved $41 million to remodel Sinclair Library into a modernized 21st century facility. The hope is to provide wider open spaces to improve student experience.
The spaces that were dedicated to students was too small, and so we knew we needed to increase that.
Sinclair Library was built in 1956. Greg Manners Sinclair served as the 4th president for the university. The library holds around 50,000 books on its shelves. Many are becoming digitized. In preparation for the new facility, Sinclair Library will be moving to Hamilton Library over the next 12 months. This means some research materials will temporarily be unavailable to students and faculty, and some are also unhappy about the longer walk across campus.
I guess it's kind of upsetting because I would hope that they can accommodate for the large amount of students that are here and make space for everyone to study.
I think it will affect students just because of the convenience of things. So yes, it has AC, but it's not convenient to campus center, it's not convenient to parking structures, and they're not really allowed to talk. The study rooms aren't huge and they're not easily placed or easily accessible.
By effect, I think the only thing that's important is that they're just going to be walking a little bit farther. Other than that, Hamilton's a nice place. It's got air conditioning too.
So we've still got to figure out where some of the books go. We'll shut down the library during renovation starting in 2021. But once we unveil the new space, when construction is complete, I'm positive everybody is going to be thrilled and excited to really experience this new facility on our campus.
Currently, by the end of 2020, we should be going out for procurement. And we're looking at probably June of 21 to actually break ground.
The center is planned to open January 2023. For UHMTV, I'm Alexa Gutierrez. The College of Social Sciences digital studios are slated to open in time for fall 2020 semester.
Thanks, Alexa. Too bad we're graduating.
I know. We'll have to visit as alumni.
We should. Now, to UH Sports, Warrior Football will soon be moving to a new home.
Plans to rebuild Aloha Stadium are currently underway, as Chasmi Hara reports.
Aloha Stadium has been a host of many great memories, like the 2007 WAC Championship game against Boise State, three sold-out Bruno Mars concerts, and the Swap Meet, the state's biggest flea market. State officials feel the 44-year-old facility needs to be upgraded. The state is in process of an environmental impact statement that should be completed by July of next year. The EIS looks at all the impacts on the community that we can see, hear, touch, and smell. The new stadium will be used for multiple events and sports.
So the stadium of the future will not only be for football, we're going to embrace rugby, we're going to embrace soccer in that stadium. So the facility itself will have opportunity to do more than football, surrounded by retail, restaurants, theaters, museums, housing, business. There's going to be activity that's going to be around that stadium. This is going to be one of the few shining examples of good government. It's going to be on budget, it's going to be on time.
The $350 million project is paid for by the state. Taxes will not be increased.
I think Aloha Stadium compares very well, and I think if you don't have that perspective of seeing what other stadiums actually feel like and such. Maybe you don't have that perspective.
The new stadium will be built adjacent to the current stadium. So for the next 2 years, the University of Hawaii football team will be playing its home games here at the current stadium.
I think that everyone will be very appreciative of the updates with the stadium, and I think it'll bring even better times than it already has.
For updates on the stadium, visit nas.hawaii.gov. State officials are fast-tracking the project in time for the 2023 football season opener. For UHMTV, I'm Chaz Mihara.
Thanks, Chaz. Well, that wraps up our 18th edition of UHMTV. Mahalo to the School of Communications and the College of Social Sciences for supporting our journalism program.
To see any of our stories online, check out our YouTube channel. Or, for more information, visit the UH Manoa journalism website.
Until next time, thanks for joining us, and aloha.